Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to the Pop-Up Couch Facebook. I miss you so much. I know I took a little bit of time off. I've been thinking about you guys. I'm trying to get back on the couch, and I was hoping to have the couch down in Ocean City. Hey Marilyn, how are you, girl? Thanks for tuning in. I was hoping to have the couch down in Ocean City last weekend. Hopefully, but unfortunately we had so much stuff in the car and I couldn't fit the big couch. So unfortunately we didn't do it, but that's okay. I hope you guys had a beautiful Easter or a Passover, whatever it is that you celebrate. And I just wanted to let you know that I miss you and I have a couple things I want to share with you today. And hopefully something here will help you through your day, your week, your weekend, or if there's something here you think someone else could use, then please share, okay? Please share any of these videos that you think may help someone else, okay? Because that's what we're here for, right? We're all just trying to help each other have a happier day, a better life, and more fulfillment, right? So, like I said, I hope some of these topics helps you, and please feel free to just, just jump right on here and comment or question or anything like that. And again, love you guys. Thanks for listening. All right, so here's a couple things I want to talk to you about. This is something that's been on my mind a lot lately, okay? Patience. Patience is something that I think a lot of people are, number one, not working on, okay? And number two, they're just not allowing the patience to take over their day, in every situation that comes their way. They're not choosing patience. They're choosing other things. They're choosing anger. They're choosing resentment. They're choosing annoyance, or what. I mean, there's a million things they're choosing, okay? But it's not patience. And I can tell you right now that patience is something that you have to work on, okay? It's just like studying for a test, but it's like a lifelong test. So patience is something that doesn't come natural for everyone. I understand that, including myself. But the more you practice patience, the better you get at it. And then when you're in a patient place in your life, you become peaceful with everything around you. You see peace, you seek out peace, I should say, instead of seeking out other things, all right? So I want to share a little quote with you about patience. There is no measurement for true patience. Peace always comes from within. So beautiful, but it's so true. So the more you guys work on inside here, in your heart, in your soul, working on being good with the way things are, not questioning everything all the time as far as like, why didn't she call me back? And why did he say that? And how come I don't work more shifts than those people? How come my house isn't as big as so-and-so's? And, all that stuff, guys. Just be patient with life in general, all right? Be patient with what's happening around you. Be patient with the people in your life. You have to work at being patient, okay? It doesn't come natural. Just try your best to just be as patient as possible. Because when you're patient, it's contagious. People around you are like, well, I mean, she seems pretty at ease. Maybe I should take it easy too, because she seems pretty happy being that way. Yeah, it's contagious. So let's see. Okay, so like I said, just try to practice patience every day. And of course, you're practicing it for yourself, number one, but you're also practicing it for your relationship with your kids, your coworkers, your parents, your friends, whoever. All right. So the more patient you are, the more pleasurable it's going to be around you. Hi, Pablo. How are you? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. So let's talk about this for a second. Give up your personal history. If you don't have a story, you don't have to live up to it. That is awesome. So the thing is, here's the thing. What does that mean, Christy? What it means is, if you're carrying around this story, okay, for instance, my parents got divorced when I was 10. I had to go live with my mom, and then she got remarried, and then my stepdad was so mean, and then we were homeless for a couple of years, and then my brother got on drugs, and then I never graduated high school, and then now I am 40 years old and I'm miserable. Well, I'm sorry about all that if that's your story, but the truth is, you can drop the story today. You can give up your personal history. What does that mean? That means you can stop telling that story, especially if you're 40 years old. Again, like, is that benefiting you in any way by constantly bringing up the past, constantly revisiting? My parents got divorced. I mean, I can tell you guys my story. My story, of course, is not as rough as that one, but I mean, a lot of our parents get divorced, okay? And it's unfortunate if that happens, but the truth is, I'm speaking for myself, when my parents got divorced, it was a blessing. They were so unhappily married for so many years. It was a heartbreak. It was heartbreaking every day to live in a home where they were fighting and not happy. And the minute they got divorced, it was so wonderful because they became friends. They didn't live together anymore. They were happy together. It actually was better for everybody. Better for them, better for us. So again, I have lots of history behind me, okay? But I try really, really hard, guys, to not bring all that, like dredge it all up constantly and make that part of my story. The story I tell is the story I want to tell. The pretty version, the positive version, you know, the inspiring version of my story. Where am I going next? What am I doing the next 10 days, 10 years? You know, what's ahead? What am I doing today? It's not like what happened 20 years ago, and can I, you know, constantly replay that story and tell everyone that wants to hear it, and then they could feel sorry for me again? How many times can people feel sorry for you? How many times can you feel sorry for you? All right, so I'm bringing this up because I know this is something that people struggle with. They have this history and they like to share it all the time. And every time they share the story out loud, verbally, it brings them back to the place of hurt and pain where the story took place. And that is not moving you forward, guys. That is just holding you back, all right? Pablo says, I also have a lot of history. I'm sure you do, Pablo, but I can tell you right now from knowing you, you've always been so pleasant and sweet. You don't go around dredging up your story every time somebody asks you how you're doing. Like, hey, Pablo, how are you today? I don't see you going, oh my God. When I was 8, seriously, my house burned down. Okay, God forbid. But that's not something you're going around telling people. It's not something they need to hear constantly. And people that go around telling people their sorrows and misfortunes are really just looking for that pity. They're looking for the, oh my God, I'm so sorry about to hear that. I'm so sorry your dog died 14 years ago. I mean, listen, dogs die. They live, they die. I'm sorry, but you don't have to replay it all the time, guys. I want to share something with you in conjunction with this. Excuse me, with the personal history. I was watching the Brene Brown Netflix special last night. I love Brene Brown. I think she's awesome. Check it out, guys, if you are looking for something to watch. I mean, it's just like a little talk she gives. She's kind of like an inspirational speaker, but she talks about guilt mostly, okay? And hey, Mary, and grief and stuff like that. But anyway, she also talks about vulnerability, all right? And I happen to love this. And vulnerability has a lot to do with, I'm tying this in with us talking about our personal history. I want to share a story with you. This is a story that I'm going to tell you, and it's a short little, I'm going to give you the short version of it, but I want you to know my story, and I also want you to know that I don't share this story often because I consciously don't make this part of my personal history, okay? I don't carry this around with me as some sort of badge of courage, and I don't carry this around with me so that people can feel sorry for me or anything like that. But I am going to share this quick story with you about me because a lot of people don't know this, okay? Okay, so I'm 41 years old, and a couple years ago, I had my son so I was pregnant with my son at 36. I had him at 37 years old. We decided, my husband and I, that we weren't going to have any more kids. So at 38 years old, I went and saw my doctor and my OBGYN, and I said, could you please give me the genetic test for BRCA1, BRCA2, okay? And what those things are, well, actually, BRCA1 mainly is what runs in my family. It's a cancer. They're cancers tied to ovarian cancer and breast cancer. And I've lost my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother to ovarian cancer. Okay, so I knew as a woman that I had a bullseye on me as far as I could probably have the same thing happen to me. So I wanted to find out. Thank God 2019, we have tests now to find out if we carry the genes that could cause these cancers. So I went, got the test done. My doctor called me 2 weeks later. He said, Christy, I would like for you to come into my office. I want to talk to you. I said, okay, great. I went in, I sat down. He had the paperwork in front of him, and he said, okay, it's bad news. You're BRCA1 positive. That means you are high risk for breast cancer and ovarian cancer, which I already kind of knew because I know that my mom passed away at 53 years old. She had a 6-pound cyst in her ovary at 53 years old. I'm sorry, she probably had it at like 51, and then she died at 53. Okay, so when he told me the news, I didn't cry. I was kind of like, I knew it already. I kind of had a feeling. I'm telling you the story because I want you guys to see my perspective on life in general. I want you to see how you don't always have to look at the shitty side of things. You can spin it any way you want. So please, I know this is a little bit of a long story, but I want you to hear this, okay? Sorry, my little doggy's here. So he told me the news. He had a ton of papers about the testing that I had done. He said, here's the thing, Christy. You're 87% likely to get breast cancer in your life because you're BRCA1 positive. And you're about 50% likely to get ovarian cancer. What do I suggest as a doctor? I suggest that you immediately, number one, get the ovaries out. If you're not going to have any more kids, get them out. I'm your doctor. I can schedule that and get them out immediately, okay? And then, well, actually, he said he wanted to take my ovaries out and my fallopian tubes. That's the first surgery. The second surgery would be to have a double mastectomy. Now, I want you guys to put yourself in my shoes for a second. I'm a healthy person, right? I'm sitting in an office feeling fine. I have no lumps in my breasts. I have no pain. I have no cyst in my ovary. Nothing physically is wrong. Nothing. Zero. But my doctor is saying, listen, you are marked here, okay? You have the gene. So you can gamble with it and roll the dice and hope that you never wake up with a cyst in your ovary or ovarian cancer or breast cancer. You can roll the dice. Or you can, as a healthy 37-year-old woman, you can decide today that you want to protect yourself so that you don't ever have to worry about waking up with cancer like that one of these days. Guys, no brainer for me. Zero. I was like, okay, how quick can I have the surgery done? You tell me when. He's like, okay, let's schedule it. Like, I can do it next month. I said, perfect. Let's do it. He said, okay, well, just a second. He said, when I take your ovaries out and your fallopian tubes, you're immediately going to go into menopause at 37 years old. Now, I don't know. I know there's probably men watching this going, well, when does menopause usually happen? It's true. We don't always talk about menopause. It's not something that we just go around blabbing about. But usually, guys, and women too, if you don't know, menopause usually starts happening in your later 40s, maybe 50, okay? It doesn't happen at 37. It just doesn't. Hey, Danny. So when he said, listen, I just want you to know that when the ovaries come out, menopause starts immediately, all right? So menopause means all kinds of things for all different women. Hot flashes, mood swings, weight gain. There's like a million things that can happen when you're in menopause. Again, I don't care about all those things. All I care about is I just had a baby, all right? My little boy at this time was only maybe a year old. I had my daughter who's about, well, now she's 16, okay? And my husband, and I didn't want to die at 50 years old like my mom did. I didn't want to wake up one day feeling like, wake up one day and being like stage 3 ovarian cancer. Death, exactly. I don't want to die. I don't. So it was a no-brainer for me, all right? So I told him, sign me up, perfect. All right, fast forward. Now, I came home, of course, told my husband the news. I said, listen, don't be upset. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, quiet. I said, listen, don't be upset. This is the news I got. But this is what I'm going to do, okay? Oh, hey, Mary. Thank you so much, girl. I love you. And it is a tough subject to talk about, but I want you guys to hear my story on this. And I also want you to know that the story has a great ending to it, okay? And it's just something I don't go blabbing about, all right? But I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you why I don't blab about it later. But thank you for that. So, I could tell my husband, listen, here's the situation. I already had a feeling I was going to get this news. I got the news. Now I'm prepared to do the surgeries. He said, okay, Christy, well, of course he was more emotional than I was, but it was fine. So, now, fast forward to the first surgery. I ended up having 3 surgeries, guys, in 1 year. I had my ovaries and fallopian tubes out in the first surgery. Then I saw a plastic surgeon. I had to have a breast lift for the second surgery, and then I had to have my double mastectomy for my 3rd surgery. So I had 3 surgeries in 1 year. Now, I had the best doctors. I mean, like, the best doctors anyone could have ever asked for. In New Jersey, these doctors, my OBGYN is the best. He delivered my son. He's the one who took my ovaries out. He's wonderful. My plastic surgeon, also wonderful, like the nicest guy. And then I also had a breast surgeon. So I had a plastic surgeon, and then I had a breast surgeon, because there's special surgeons that do individual, like my breast surgeon, she only operates on women's breasts, or maybe men too. And my plastic surgeon, he was there, of course, to do the cosmetic work. But unbelievable doctors. I mean, they were just sent from God to help me here, okay? So I want you to just bear with me here. So the first surgery, all right, going in. Also, I want to say this again, guys, because just for the perspective piece here, I'm going into surgery. All right, I'm dressed in the morning. They tell you, listen, I don't know if you guys have had surgery before, but before surgery, there's a whole process, right? You get up in the morning. You can't put any deodorant on. You can't put any lotion on. Just come in. You go in. They prep you. Okay. They make you like clean out your mouth and your nose, and they make you put, they wipe you down, and then you put the gown on, and then of course at the end they give you this like shiny little hat you put on, and then you lay on the stretcher thing, and they push you into the operating room. Here's the thing. Up until the day of the first surgery, I was still thinking, is this the right thing to do? I mean, I feel fine. I'm not sick or anything. I'm not downplaying anybody who is sick and has to have surgery, but when you're feeling fine and nothing's wrong, and you're deciding that I'm going to do this just to prevent anything, it does kind of mess with your head a little bit. It really does. But I kept reminding myself that, listen, Christy, you're doing the right thing here. You don't want to live in fear. And that's the thing. I don't believe in fear, and I'm not afraid of anything. I can say that out loud. I'm not afraid of anything. So the last thing I want to do is wake up every day thinking and being afraid that maybe something could show up in my body, and then it would be too late. Oh, by the way, if I didn't get my breasts removed, okay, if I didn't have that surgery done, they said if I was to get breast cancer, because I'm BRCA1 positive, that it would be one of the most vicious forms of breast cancer, all right? And also very, very hard to treat. And like, it could be years and years of like chemo and all that stuff. So that's another reason why I totally opted to have the double mastectomy, because I didn't want to wake up one morning and have to fight through all that crap that they were trying to tell me I was going to have to fight through. So here I am on the table. They're wheeling me into the OR, and in the operating room, of course, all the doctors are prepping and all that, and it's freezing cold. They keep it really cold in there, but they were all very nice to me. And again, scary, guys, like any kind of surgery is scary, but luckily everything went wonderful. All right, I woke up. My husband was there for me the whole time. It was wonderful. I was lucky to come home a couple days later, and everything was fine. And then about 6 months later, I had a breast lift done. That was another surgery I had from my plastic surgeon. He said we had to, lift because I had implants before, I had breast implants. So he said, listen, we're going to have to lift your breasts up before we do the 3rd surgery. Hey, Allison. Hi, girl. So of course, the ovaries were out. Hey, Chuck. and the fallopian tubes. And then and then about 6 months later, I had the breast lift. And then I think it was like another 3 months later, I had the double mastectomy. And I'm going to tell you a story real quick about the double mastectomy. When I went in, number one, my best friend Rachel Spiegel was wonderful and so supportive, and she came all the way up here. She lives in Delaware, but she came to my house in New Jersey. She watched our son, because this surgery took about, I think it was like 9 hours or something like that. And she was here the whole day entertaining him and feeding him and taking care, and just really helped me go into surgery knowing that my little, 1.5-year-old son was going to be okay in her hands. So I was, so for the double mastectomy, that morning I got there. I didn't sleep at all that night because I just, was nervous a little bit, and just, it was scary, honestly, guys. That one was the scariest of the 3 surgeries I had done. So I got to the hospital that morning, and I was holding it together fine. My husband Mark was with me. We check in at the desk, and the lady said, "Okay, hi, how are you? What are you here for? What doctor are you here to see?" And I said, "I'm here to see Dr. Schaefer, and I'm here to have my double mastectomy done." And she was like, she leaned over to me, you guys. It's such a magical moment, right? She goes, "Hey," she whispers to me, she's like, "Hey, you have the best doctor. I'm just telling you, like, you're so lucky." I'm going to try not to cry right now because I lost it. Like, I cried so much when she said this to me because I know I had the best doctor. This doctor is known for doing these surgeries. Like, she's known for the breast surgery she does. All right, she's been doing it for like 25 years, and I am in the best care I could ever be in with somebody. So I felt not scared, you guys. I just felt lucky. Like, I felt so lucky that I was in the hands of somebody who I knew was going to take care of me. And she did. She took care of me. And my other, Dr. Cooperman was my other surgeon. He was my plastic surgeon. So what happens when you get a double mastectomy is, first the breast surgeon comes in. She removes all the breast tissue, okay, from your body. And also, okay, so that's her job, to take all the breast tissue out. And then when she's finished with that, then the plastic surgeon comes in and he removes, I had implants at the time. He took my old implants out, and he then was able to put new implants in, okay? Better ones, by the way, than the ones I had. And then, of course, try to do his best to make them presentable, because what happens is, it's not like a regular surgery when a girl would go get a boob job, okay? It's different, because when you remove all the breast tissue, now you're just left with skin, okay? So he had to kind of build something where there was nothing, you know what I mean? There was no tissue in there, so it's just, anyway, he did a great job, and I felt wonderful. I woke up from the surgery, and I was fine. I made it, and I'm here to tell you guys that I feel great. And if this is menopause 2 years later after these surgeries, this is nothing, guys. It's fine. It's wonderful. Yeah, I get a little hot sometimes when I'm sleeping, but so what? I'm not going to go telling everybody about that. I'm not going to make it ruin my day. I'm just telling you that I was faced with a decision to either be afraid, okay, or to be strong, and I chose to be strong. And I'm also telling you the story because I don't make this part of my history. I don't bring this up every day to people. I don't even bring this up every 6 months to people unless they ask me. It's not something I go broadcasting, because I don't want people feeling sorry for me. I never had anything wrong. I had nothing to feel sorry about. I didn't wake up with cancer. I just decided that I was going to prevent anything from happening that I could prevent, because I have a feeling in my heart that I probably would have gotten ovarian cancer, just because it happened so many times in my family. So that's my story, and it's something that I am very proud to say that I got through. And I also was lucky enough to, like I said, you guys, so fortunate and blessed to have the best doctors I could have had. And that's the truth. All right. So let's talk about a couple more things. Sorry, I got a little emotional there, but really that was a really amazing situation that really went well, and I'm well. So let's talk about, relationships for a minute. Hey, Paul. Oh, by the way, there's my boss on there. Hi, Paul. And Paul was so kind when I had my surgeries done that he and Marie, my other boss, were nice enough to send this delicious food to our house, and just was checking on me and called to let me know that they were concerned about me, and I am really fortunate to have such a nice boss. Okay, bosses, I should say. Thank you, Paul and Marie. You guys were the best. Hey, Christine. So let's talk about relationships for a second. All right, I want to mention this. This is important. If you're with someone, let's just say it's a brand new relationship, or even if it's been for a while that you've been with someone, never threaten to leave that person, okay? Don't do that, because if you threaten to leave someone, then the relationship is already over. And especially in a marriage, guys. If you're threatening to leave your spouse, that person that you're threatening is in his mind or her mind going, oh, well, she's saying she's going to leave me? Well, this is already done. Like, it's one thing to have a discussion or maybe even an argument once in a while, but don't ever say, you know what, I'm done. If you do this again, I'm leaving, or we're done, or we're going to get divorced. Don't ever threaten those things. If you do, plan on following through with those things, okay? Because when you say those words to somebody, that really hurts and hits hard, and that's what changes things with people. That's what changes feelings in someone's heart. When you say that to someone, they're going to go, oh, really? Okay, well, now I know where I stand. And even if they don't move their stuff out today in the U-Haul truck, emotionally and mentally, they're already thinking about the U-Haul truck coming, okay? So don't do that. Be aware of that. Words stick, especially those kind of words. I want to talk about paying it forward, too, real quick. I was leaving work the other day. I was sitting at a red light, and this guy pulls up next to me, and he's beeping, right? And I look over, and he's like signaling to put my window down. So I put my window down, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, hi. And he's like, hey, listen, keep smiling. Just keep smiling. Stay happy. Life is so great, right? I'm like, yeah, it is so great. Like, I am going to keep smiling. Thank you. And he's like, no, seriously, keep going. So many people have so many things that they're upset about and all that, but we don't need to be upset. We just need to just be happy, right? Like, let's all just be happy. Christine, I love you. Thanks, girl. So I was like, hey, you're right. And then I got to the next red light, and I look back, and he's still beeping at the next person in back of me, and he's telling her to put her window down, and he's saying the same message to her. I'm sharing this with you guys because maybe he's a little kooky, I don't know, but I don't care. I mean, he made my day. I was meant to hear that. We're on the same frequency. When you're on the same frequency with people, when you're giving out the kind of vibes that you love everyone and that you're trying your best to be peaceful and patient and you're giving out those vibes, you'd be surprised who else is giving out those vibes, and they're on your frequency, and they will find you. They'll just seek you out, and when they seek you out, you'll know in your heart that was for you to hear. So I felt really great that day, and I want to pay it forward. I'm not going to go beeping at people and putting my window down, just saying, but I am going to do my best to, especially today, I'm just going to do my best to help people be happier, say nice things to them, help them if I can, ask them if they need any help. Anyone in my day today, I'm going to say, listen, what can I do for you? Is there anything you need? It's not about me, it's never about me. I want to do my best to help others, okay? So pay it forward. Let's talk about, just for a second here, I want to talk about, I was with my friend the other night, and she was telling me that her dad died a few years ago, and whenever the date of her father's death comes back around, she gets very, very upset and emotional and has a really hard time. I want to say this, and I am not downplaying her or anyone else who does that or feels that way, okay? But I want to say this, just from a perspective, point of view. I don't know when anyone died in my life. I really don't know. Why am I saying that? Because I have no idea the day that my close loved ones passed away. I purposely don't know because I don't want to celebrate the day they died. I want to celebrate their life. I do know their birthdays. I do. And when their birthdays come around, I get happy, and I get close, to them, and I even try to talk to them through prayer. But what I don't do is celebrate their death, because I don't think it's worth celebrating, honestly. And that's just my perspective, okay? So maybe that's just, for me anyway, it's easier that way, to not celebrate somebody's death. Now, I know that that's something that's not for everyone. I know somebody personally that likes to go to the cemetery, and she likes to pay respects to her parents there. And that's a beautiful thing. And I'm not, again, nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just saying that I think it's a little easier when you just celebrate life instead of death. That's it. All right, just perspective, guys. Let's talk about, let's talk about measuring your parents' happiness. I want you guys to do that. Don't spend all day doing it, all right? But just give yourself a few minutes and just think about, how happy are my parents? Or how happy were they, even if they're not here anymore? I'm sorry, but if they're not, measure their happiness and then measure yours. Okay? And see if there's any correlation there. We all want our parents to be happy. It's important to us. They want us to be happy too. But if they're really, really unhappy, there's a pretty good chance that you're really, really unhappy too. So don't carry their hardships with you, because their hardships are their own hardships to carry. Okay? Especially as adults. I mean, we're all, well, if they're hurting, of course you're going to think about them, and you're going to say what I said earlier. Can I help you with anything? Can I do anything for you? I just want to call them once in a while, let them know you're thinking about them. But you can't fix their problems. And as an adult, they shouldn't be fixing yours either, okay? But just remember, you can't fix everybody, right? And especially your parents. If they're hurting, well, they'll figure it out. They've figured it out this far, right? They will figure it out. Let's see if I have anything else for you guys. So nice to see you guys again, by the way. I really miss seeing you. Oh, one more thing. This is really important. I want to talk about broken relationships. If you're in a relationship that's broken, okay, what I'm saying is, if you're struggling with someone right now, maybe you guys have hit a bump in the road, a pretty big bump in the road, and you don't feel like you can get past it. It's exhausting. You're fighting. You're unhappy. You're crying. Here's the thing. Here's the options that you have in a situation like this. You can either choose to start over, or you can choose to end it. But what you can't choose is to continue it. If you're hurting, let's give an example here. I'm going to give an example of cheating. This is the best example I can give. From experience, by the way. From experience. If you're with someone and they cheated on you, your choice is forgive them and start over, or end everything. You cannot continue it. What I'm saying is, do I believe that someone can be forgiven for cheating? Yes, I do. I also believe that it can be forgiven only if the two people, the one who cheated, of course, promises that it'll never happen again, and that he or she is sorry, and the other person accepts the apology and decides to start over and decides to trust the person unconditional. That's the only way it's ever going to work. Or just end it. Seriously, guys, just end it, cut it loose, cut yourself loose. But that's the only way. You can always decide to start over. You don't have to keep going down the road you've been on with this person. Of course, especially if it's been painful. All right? So remember that. It's worked for me, and I know it could work for you. So, thank you guys for all your beautiful comments, and thank you for watching and listening and your support. I love you guys. I'm sorry I kept you on a little longer today, and but I just thought there was some stuff I really wanted to share, and I feel better that I shared. So I hope it helps you feel better, and I just want you to know that it's all about perspective. It's all about patience. It's just about finding peace within yourself, okay, and paying it forward. All right? Let's do that today. Let's do it every day. I love you guys. Reach out to me anytime you need anything, and I will see you next week. Hopefully, definitely Monday, all right? And I'll be back in New York soon. I'm working on it as we speak. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.